What's up, everybody? I'm here with another book review. This time I want to talk about a Give Yourself Goosebumps book. This is Welcome to the Wicked Wax Museum. I picked this book for this month because for August I did like a back to school type books, and this was like on a field trip, so I figured that'd be pretty fun. I really wanted to knock this one out because I really need to start knocking some of these Give Yourself Goosebumps books out. I think I have 20 on my playlist. I have read more than that, but the ones I haven't read, I plan on doing like rereads, I guess. I'm not sure. I haven't made it that far yet, but yeah, this is one that really wanted to try, really wanted to knock out. I think I tried reading this a few years ago and I couldn't get into it. I don't know if I was just bored or what. This is a book that's really well liked in the community, and the Goosebumps, what is his name? The Horrorlander, BD Horror, really cool dude. Read this a few years, well, it's been quite a few years ago now, and I think this was one of his favorites. I remember him talking about Sybil Wicked, this lady here on the front. This cover doesn't do it justice. This is a good cover, but in the book she described it as being way more scary. But yeah, let's kind of get into this. And first and foremost, I did do a full review. I had to go back and look through this to do my review on Instagram. There was a lot of this I kind of forgot, and I do this thing where when I finish all the endings, I try to make sure I hit every page. So I go through each page individually and look to see if I remember everything. And this one I had to write down some, and I had like 50 pages wrote down that I just couldn't remember because I felt like there's a lot of it that just wasn't very memorable. But yeah, it's a really weird strategy. I know. I know a lot of people do the whole bookmark thing where they do like 3 bookmarks. I'm not good at that. I'm gonna get confused if I do that. But yeah, let's start with the story. The story follows you and your two friends. You guys are going on a field trip to the Wicked Wax Museum. Your teacher, named Mr. Dunham, I think, he gave like some kind of donation to this wax museum, and they're supposed to do a grand opening tomorrow, but you're getting like a sneak preview of it. So you and your three friends, you guys are on the school bus, and your friend Jake does this thing where he like puts his head on the glass of the window, and he writes something. I can't remember exactly what he writes, but it says like history sucks or something. And they get in trouble. And what basically happens is Mr. Dunham says, when we get off the bus, you guys are not going to be able to explore the field trip with us. You guys are going to stay in the lobby. And this doesn't last long. Jake wants to explore, and you guys want to explore too. Jake ends up going through this door and disappearing. And your first choice is, do you follow Jake to see what's going on, or do you go get help? I went to go get help. When you do this, you run into a limousine driver, and you end up either not getting in the car with him or getting in the car with him. If you don't, that leads to a bad ending, so it's pretty much promoting getting in the car with strangers, which is kind of crazy, especially from the 90s. But you get in the car, and when you're in there, you want to call for help because this guy is named Axel, and you see that his face is just like a skull, like he's just driving, he's got a skull face. And yeah, he's here to kidnap you and do something. You don't know exactly what. So you get a choice of 3 different calls, and 2 of them don't really lead to anything, but one of them takes you on this other like storyline kind of thing. And this is where it got a little confusing for me because certain storylines were I confused myself with this because at the beginning it doesn't really branch off to a storyline; it just branches off into choices. The storyline really gets to where when you get in the limousine, you hit this button, a trap door opens up, you end up going down to this basement, like through a slide, and you get this either you go through a door or you go back up the chute that you came out of, and that leads to the 2 different storylines. If you go back up the chute, that's the one I went to, you end up running into like these evil scientists that work for uh, Izzy Wicked, who is the person that owns this wax museum. That's the reason why it's called Wax Museum. And they basically want to kidnap you and turn you into wax sculptures. And this does have some kind of dark elements to it where they want to steam you, boil you, skin you alive, and all this crazy stuff and turn you into a wax figure. The reason for this is really dumb. It's not really well thought out. I thought it was just kind of, I don't know, just kind of stupid. I didn't love this storyline. And I remember reading this part and I was just like, what was the purpose of it? Like, I was like, when's the good stuff going to happen? I knew that Sybil Wicked was the best part of this book, but I ended up going through the other storyline first, which kind of slowed me down a little bit. Wasn't really interested in it. You also get this maze in this book, and the maze was to me. I mean, I don't know how you guys did with this kind of book, but I didn't complete the maze. I tried multiple times, and I just didn't get through it. I showed my girlfriend, and I was like, "Is there a way to get through this?" And somebody already wrote in this book, so it wouldn't hurt anything. She was like, "I can probably figure it out if you let me write in it." And I didn't write. I don't write in any of these books. You know, I like to keep them as close to pristine as possible. This one is not pristine at all. But yeah, so I didn't go through that. This other story, the storyline here too, you end up running into a certain wax figure from a certain Goosebumps book. You see Count Dracula. You can't see the what's his name, Gillman from the Swamp Thing, or no, Creature from Black Lagoon. There's Frankenstein, all kinds of cool stuff. There's all kinds of Goosebumps characters. They don't do much, but they are, referenced and showed. And I didn't know that this book was one of those that had that stuff in it. Really cool. The other storyline is where it gets really good. You go through this door, and it takes you to this room that is covered in just walls. It's just purple, no mirrors, no windows, or nothing. And you end up in here, and you hear this lady like shout, "The horror, the horror," and you end up seeing this like newspaper article on a board on a wall or whatever, and it says basically Sybil Wicked was the daughter of Izzy Wicked, who died in this fire. And yeah, long story short, Sybil Wicked ain't dead. She shows up, and she basically wants to take your face and put it on hers, because her face is horrifically deformed. She has, like, in the book, she's described as having like one eye higher than the other, one eye different color. She has like a thing of red hair going across her forehead. Really scary stuff, and there's some really good endings in this storyline. The most memorable that I remember is the one where you go to the deboner room. I think that's in the storyline. And there's another one where you get like basically stripped of your face, and like your eyeballs are hanging up in this rack. And yeah, she has this thing called a facelifter, which is like this. It's described as looking like an octopus, but it's like a metal um, contraption thing with like a peeler, a eyeball poker, and just different things like that. It's very scary. Yeah, that storyline was way better than this. Sybil Wicked was very iconic, very cool. I loved their backstory and all that. The other storyline was just kind of fine. Like, it wasn't bad, it just was really not memorable. And in fact, a lot of this, throughout most of this book, was just not very memorable in my opinion. There's not a lot that I can say happens that is different from another storyline or anything. There's a lot of like gore and stuff like that in here. But yeah, Sybil Wicked's very awesome. This one here I didn't love, and the navigation was very, very difficult for me to comprehend. I'm not sure if that's the case for everybody. I'm sure it's not. I'm sure it's just me. But yeah, if I had to rate Welcome to the Wicked Wax Museum, I'd probably give it like a 3 out of 5 stars. Didn't love it, but Sybil Wicked was the highlight of this book. Very, very cool. Yeah. Other than that, I don't really know any bad things to say about it. It's just I thought it was really good. I thought the Sybil Wicked stuff was good, and the rest of it was just kind of okay. I did think that it was a little bit too difficult for me, but again, that could be just me whining. It's probably fine. I mean, you could probably get a third grader to read this, and they'll like, "Oh, it's easy." But yeah, me, no. I'm a 33, and I was having trouble with it. Yeah. Um, yeah. Like I remember again the maze. I was looking at it, and I was just like, I can't. I was using my finger to trace it, and I just couldn't figure out where to go. But yeah, welcome to the Wicked Wax Museum. I give it a 3 out of 5 stars. Not the best of the books, not one of the best in the series, but pretty good. Pretty decent book. And yeah, I think that's it for me, guys. Thank you. Bye bye.